Over the past year, I have been leaning into the power of having an impossible goal. And after trial and error, trying different versions of writing impossible goals, I finally created a goal that has been changing my mindset and completely changing how I approach every single day of my life. If you have aspirations to serve the world with your business, with your experience, maybe building a learning experience program to create world impact, like my VIP coaching client Mario, working towards halving the world suicide rate in the next 3 years, then creating an impossible goal will completely change your life. Now, where did I get this concept of setting impossible goals from? Well, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, he's written books like 10x is easier than 2x, The Science of Scaling, and Be Your Future Self Now. And throughout all of these literary works, he talks about how when you set an impossible goal, you are changing how you think. And if you set a goal that doesn't change how you think, you need to set a different goal. Now, before I get to my 3 most powerful takeaways that have impacted my life by setting impossible goals that I share with my VIP coaching experience clients, I want to define what I mean by an impossible goal. An impossible goal encapsulates 2 things. Number 1, an outcome that you are looking to achieve that is much larger than anything you have ever achieved. A huge outcome. If you just have a huge outcome, though, you have not created an impossible goal. You need to pair this with an extremely tight deadline. And when I mean extremely tight deadline, I mean a deadline that scares you. And throughout all of his books, Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about how at the very longest, your tight deadline has to be 3 years or less. 5 years is too long. 10 years is way too long. 3 years may be too long. 3 years is the longest period of time that you want for your impossible goal. For me, over the years of being an entrepreneur, I have always had a goal of making $1 million a year. And to this date, now when this video goes out, maybe it has changed, but to this date of recording this video, I have not made 7 figures a year in my business yet. And I almost guarantee you it's because I have always looked at it as being a goal that I'm going to achieve with too large of a time deadline. For me, I've always looked at even 3 years out as too long. For me, I believe that we need to have goals that are so tight of a deadline, it's 1 year max or less. So what I like to do is start with the huge outcome and conceptualizing how it feels to achieve that outcome starting in a 3-year period. But then I like to ask, how would I do this in 1 year? How would I do this in 6 months? How would I do this in 90 days? And this is where my mindset completely changes. So my goal, my impossible goal, started with how can I serve $1 million worth of clients in the next year? Because I've never done that before, and I really want to do that in the next year. What I figured out, though, is by asking myself that question and giving myself a year deadline, I wasn't changing anything that I'm doing in the present. This means that the year-long deadline wasn't short enough of a time frame for me. So 3 years is definitely just out of the picture. 1 year didn't create any change in the present. So then I started looking, well, what if I did it in the next 6 months? Well, this is where things really started changing for me. When I looked at serving $1 million worth of clients with eLearning partners in the next 6 months, I started thinking through, okay, well, it'd be a lot easier to serve $1 million worth of group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership clients. This means my Enterprise Learning Accelerator costs $300K. My one-on-one coaching costs $50K. My group coaching costs $10K. Versus focusing on building my affiliate income and selling my $500 course. Now, I love my affiliate income because it allows me to create a win-win with my clients, the software company, and with eLearning partners. It's a win-win-win when I'm able to powerfully serve in this way. The challenge is each affiliate client, maybe I make somewhere between $50 and $100 a month from. So if I'm looking at building a $1 million business in the next 6 months, neither one of these has the clearest pathway to doing so. Mainly because I serve people by creating amazing content on my YouTube channel, giving out free courses to help people get the most out of these platforms. And then I offer my Platform to Profit strategy session once people start paying for the software. Well, all of that is meant to serve people looking for those answers. I'm not going out there trying to convince people to use different platforms. People are searching for answers from me. Well, my eLearning Simplified Academy and my affiliate income grows year over year. This is not a clear path to making $1 million in the next 6 months. The clearer path is right here. Well, it wasn't until I took 6 months off the table and I started looking at how would I serve $1 million worth of clients in the next 90 days that things became extremely clear. I just need to serve 3 Enterprise Learning Accelerator clients. And guess what? Along with it just being 3, I have the best case studies for this program. I'm able to save organizations 6 figures or more per year, even after paying me. This is another win-win. It's a win for the organization because they're going to save money and get their initial investment in me and eLearning partners back in less than 8 months. And then it's a win for me and my company because we're able to serve $1 million worth of clients. And lastly, since I'm only serving a few Enterprise Learning Accelerator clients at a time, I'm able to dig deep and provide the best value possible versus having to sell $20,500 courses, where the quantity sounds great, but the one-on-one impact that I'm able to provide for my Enterprise Learning Accelerator clients is unmatched. And that's why the program is so successful. So this is why when you're looking at setting your impossible goals, yes, start with a 3-year frame, but if it's not changing how you would go about it in the present, you need to drop it. Try a year. If that doesn't change how your mind is thinking through things in the present, then get rid of that. Go to 6 months. If that doesn't change what you're thinking about in the present enough, try 90 days. If 90 days doesn't do it, try 30. 90 did it for me. And I bet that one of these will do it for you. So here's what my impossible goal has done for me in the present. These are my 3 biggest takeaways that I share with my VIP coaching experience and my Enterprise Learning Accelerator clients. The first one, by setting an impossible goal, you are forcing your mindset to change. If your goal isn't big enough, and if it doesn't have a tight enough timeline, then your mindset isn't going to change. It's just not. And I get it. You may be a little scared to set an impossible goal. But Johnny, it always stresses me out when I set a goal and I don't achieve it. Well, that's because you're looking about it how I used to look at goal setting. As I set this goal and I got to work really hard, I got to figure it out. Oh my God, I got to achieve it. If I don't achieve it, I'm a failure. No, that isn't how this works. You set the goal and use the goal as a tool. You use the time constraint as a tool. Time as a tool. Time is a tool. This is something Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about a lot. He even has an audiobook that just came out called Time is a Tool. And that's what you're doing here. You're using your impossible goal to force yourself to change your mindset. If it doesn't change your mindset, then the goal isn't big enough. If the goal starts stressing you out, I invite you to take a step back and say, this is good. I'm not a failure if I don't achieve this goal. But now that I feel the pressure of what this impossible goal means, I am open to receiving a better path to achieve the goal. Now, how do we avoid getting stressed out when we set an impossible goal? Well, we want to act from the goal, not to the goal. Act from the goal. We make changes in the present as if we have already achieved the goal. When we act to the goal, we are focusing on in the present that we don't have the goal yet. Let me say this a different way. When we act from the goal, we do things in the present as if we have already achieved the goal. When we act to the goal, we may make choices in the present based on the stress we are under because we have not achieved the goal. Okay, Johnny, I'm starting to kind of get it. This was the most complicated thing for me, and why it took me a couple of years to finally get impossible goal setting right. What I invite you to do is, after you set your impossible goal, I want you to write a letter from yourself once you've achieved that goal to yourself in the present. Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about how we need to communicate with our future selves more powerfully. And we need to do it often. Well, the best way to do this is by writing a letter from our future self to our present self. Not from our present self to our future self to our present self. It may sound silly. I thought it did, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I started writing a letter from myself 90 days from now, talking to my present self about how it feels to achieve my impossible goal. And it was crazy what happened to my mind. I started thinking, wow, if this is who I am in 90 days, I need to live my life differently today. I need to live my life from the goal. And this means that at night, instead of staying up late watching TV, I need to get to bed early because I want to have the best energy possible the next day. This means that I need to powerfully focus on who I can serve the best with my Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership. This means that I'm going to start teaching on my YouTube channel these highly impactful concepts to change as many people's lives as possible who fits best for me to most powerfully serve. Once I did this, I got addicted to it. So I did it again. I wrote from 90 days, 6 months, 1 year. 1 year was really cool. Johnny, a year from now, has a lot of cool things and has served so many people. It's amazing. Johnny, a year from now, is very happy. And since Johnny, a year from now, is very happy, Johnny today is really happy. Act from your goal, not to your goal. And number 3, cultivate abundant energy daily. Now, this started as a subconscious result of me working from my goal instead of to my goal, and eventually came into my conscious reality. What happened was, one day I woke up and it was around 6:30 a.m. and I was so stressed out because I set my impossible goal, $1 million in the next 90 days. And I was like, I need to start working now. But then I took a step back and I told myself, how many times in my life have I jumped immediately into work out of stress, out of scarcity? This is where I was. I was stressed. I was thinking of scarcity and lack. Like, I don't have my goal right now. I need to go do. I need to go do while I was being these things. What I really needed to do was be abundant, and then I could start doing. So what I decided to do was, instead of jumping right into work, I told myself, you know what? I want to feel good. I want to feel positive energy. I'm tired of feeling stressed. I'm tired of feeling scarce and lack. So I started by incorporating some movement or exercise. My other business athlete with asthma, I talk about the 3 pillars of healthy living. Well, movement is the number 1 pillar of healthy living. Because did you know that just having a moderate exercise routine throughout the week decreases all-cause mortality rates by 35%? There is no drug that exists that comes close to how powerful movement is on your life. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start with movement. I know that when you move, endorphins are released. You start feeling better. You start creating this abundant energy. It's also really good for you. So that's what I started with. Then I got home and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to meditate. Maybe for you, it's prayer, some sort of spiritual practice. Meditation, prayer, spiritual practice also is shown to create abundant energy. And what did I do next? I journaled. I wrote down these head trash thoughts and I opened myself up for my next thing. Gratitudes. I started being grateful for everything I have. You're not going to receive more if you're not grateful for what you already have. And I knew that. And I know that to this day. So I wrote down my gratitudes. And then, it's like a cheat code to feeling better. I took a cold shower. Completely reset my nervous system. If you want a switch that makes you feel better, that pulls you out of this, up to this, try taking a cold shower. 30 seconds, a minute, a couple minutes. You can afford to sacrifice a couple minutes of your day to pull yourself out of stress and scarcity into abundance. And that's what I did. Since this day, and how powerful it felt going into work with abundant energy, working from my goal instead of to my goal, I have completely changed my daily routine from when I go to bed to when I wake up in the morning, to what I do when I wake up in the morning to cultivate abundant energy. And I know that when I start dipping, when I start dropping towards stress, lack, scarcity, that I need to take a step back and do something for myself. Maybe it's one of these things. Maybe it's eating healthy food. Maybe it's sleep. Whatever it is, I know that when I start feeling stress, scarcity, and lack, I need to do something for myself. I need to do something to be abundant. Be, do, have. If your state of being is stressed, then your state of doing is stressed, and your state of having is stressed. If your state of being is abundant, then your state of doing is abundant, and your state of having is abundance. If this was helpful for you today, and you and your e-learning business have global aspirations to impact the world, I invite you to apply for my VIP coaching experience, where I help business owners save 6 figures or more per year, scale their business globally, and cut the amount of hours that they're working every week so that you can focus on yourself and creating from abundance, positive energy. Check out the link in the description below or in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. And I'll see you in the next episode.